All right, welcome everybody. This is our first episode of Truth Bomb Marketing here. I'm super excited to be talking about how to get started with binary trading. It's called HFX in the world of trading, and what it stands for is high frequency trading. So it's different as I'm learning. Now, I might sound all intelligent about this right now, but I literally learned this like yesterday. So I just am sharing with you what I've learned. So, when you talk about Forex trading, that's considered a banker's way of a strategy. So bankers' strategies are how banks trade in the Forex market in your currencies, cryptocurrencies, things like that. And then which is usually a little bit longer time frame because you could be trading for the whole week based on how you trade, or you can take it on like what we've done, which is the binary trading options, which is way more entertaining. After last night, I think everybody like kind of was on a high for all the excitement, all the energy. And what I want to do is I want to bring on Raquel. So she's here with me today. So Raquel is a good friend of mine, somebody I work with, a mother of how many children?
7.
7. And it just keeps growing. Like it's a good thing. Trust me. Okay. Um, She's an amazing entrepreneur. She has been in the online digital space for a few years now and really has been looking for the education in her home. Just like many of us, when we get started in online, a lot of times we start with a network marketing opportunity. Sometimes you come in as an affiliate marketer. These are typically the starting points of how we get in. And so I brought Raquel on here today because her and I were talking yesterday, and we kind of were like both in the same place, right? So first off, I want to say thank you, Raquel, for jumping on. I know it's early morning for you. So super excited to have you here because her success rate so far in 30 days has been ridiculous with binary. I love her and I'm willing to learn even from her, even though I'm learning from other masters because it's just the actions that we take. So my questions for you today, Raquel, are really around getting started, right? Because we kind of were talking yesterday around you and I have both been talking about cryptocurrency or heard it over the years, right? Like, how many
Yeah,
times have you been offered to join a cryptocurrency company?
a lot in the last probably in the last year, a lot. I've had it a few times years ago where it's like really new, but to me, but yeah, many
What were,
times.
what were some of your concerns about cryptocurrency and learning how to trade and things like that?
The biggest concern that probably stopped me the last few times when I was introduced to it was hearing people lose their money,
Mm,
joining a company and either they couldn't get their money out that they've won or they've traded, and the other one is they couldn't, or the company went down, went out of business, and they lost everything.
yeah. And so, what do you know about cryptocurrency? Like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should people, did you want to get into it or were you kind of really hesitant about getting into it?
I was hesitant. I didn't know a whole lot about it. Um, I still kind of don't know everything about it, but before it was a dark web type thing
Mm.
before, but now it's more, acceptable now. It's I don't know. I hear really good things now about it.
So do you think we hear good and bad things about it based on people's experiences with it so far?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think people getting into different companies and, maybe not really researching it um or trusting who they got into it with, and then they get a bad experience and then it gives everything a bad rep.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, so that because like for me, I always thought it was like this creepy little thing behind doors. Like I always called it the black
Mhm.
alleyway, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like go down over here and go
yeah.
hand somebody some money and they're gonna make it into another money. And like there's this whole like underbelly kind of a thing going on. So it doesn't seem to be part of mainstream. It doesn't seem part of the norm.
Mhm.
So it definitely has this, I call it sketchiness to it
Yeah.
when I was looking at it. Right. Oh my gosh. So you're in it now. So what was your first experience like buying cryptocurrency? I want to hear about like what was the adventure around learning how to buy cryptocurrency?
Well, so, like, you, like, it's what, been like a week or like a few weeks now into it, and I knew nothing, 0. Like, I had heard from people, talking about it, but I had no experience in buying any of it. But then when I went into it and started buying it, it's very simple and it's easy to learn and it's very easy to buy crypto. Anybody can buy it.
Anybody. So
Yeah.
one of my adventures around buying crypto for the first time, and I had just thought this was fun. Like I really was freaked out, right? So you have to buy through like a coin broker almost, right? So there's things
Yeah.
like Coinbase out there. There's crypto.com, which is an app. There's Bitcoin one. Like there's a lot of different
Yeah.
like platforms for buying the currency, right?
Mhm.
So the first time I had to do this, I was using crypto.com, right? I'd never heard of it before, never used it before. I had it on my phone and I was like, I was told by a friend to get the app. So I did. I never did anything with it, right? And now I'm being told to fund my wallet. And I was like,
Yeah.
what
What's
does
that?
that mean?
Right.
So we get into like funding this wallet. They're like, okay, so you're gonna have to connect this account to like a bank or a card. And I was like, sketchy, right?
Yeah.
So you get the money into the account, then they're like, you have to buy a coin, right? And so at the time, my mentor and friend said, hey, you want to buy this coin, but I couldn't buy that coin on this platform because it didn't exist yet or it wasn't part of this platform. So I'm like, well, how do I get another? So then I realized I had to buy another currency to then trade into the currency that I needed for them to do the transaction, right? And I was like,
Yeah, you're right. When you look at it all that way, it's not like the most simplest thing. It's like, which
hmm.
currency do you choose and which one's the best? And then you buy and you're like, oh wait, I just lost a couple dollars buying that one. So what do I do? Yeah.
And literally, I lost like $80 by buying the wrong coin in like a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I'm not
What?
supposed to lose. Like, I'm losing money. Like, it really it freaked me out. I was like, oh, she's about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like, what did I just get into? And then I had to learn, like, in like no training whatsoever, right? It's like pushing buttons. And then I had to learn how to sell the coin to like buy another coin. And I was like, oh my God, like, who does this?
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely need somebody to guide you through it.
Yeah, the guide helps. I swear I was trying to reach out to everybody. What I found though is a lot of the times when we get into the cryptocurrency and into the binary trading in the Forex world, the people that we're trusting and following have been doing it for years. What I'm discovering is that the technology has evolved so much over the last few years that
Yeah.
how we're getting in is very different from how they got in the beginning,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you tell them like, "Hey, how do I do this?" They kind of look at me like I've grown another head. They're like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, how do I put money in this account?"
Right? Well, because you're right, because it's not just,
Mm.
you put your money into the Coinbase account or whatever account you choose, and then you still have to transfer that into another account to
Yeah.
do it. So
So you've got like a money, you've got what they call. So I'm gonna try to figure this out. So I'm breaking this down with all of you, but I think Raquel, it's you're gonna fund the wallet, and then the wallet is what you use to fund the broker account. So whether
the
it's a
broker account, okay.
Forex trading broker or a binary trading or something like that's what you're going to do. If I'm
Yeah.
misunderstanding what I've learned, because like just like you, I'm like 30 days in, I'm like, holy crap, right? This is all new and all scary for me. Um, so I want to talk about yesterday because you were just okay. So I'm just going to set the stage. So I'm gonna hand this over to you because I just want you to talk about what happened yesterday. I'm gonna have to really watch my language because I think this channel is like non-censored for language. Anyway, so you were on with the trading with us yesterday for binary trading. We are working with an incredible education company, some amazing master traders and everything else. And so you were sitting at home on this trading thing, and the next thing I know, I get a message from you. You're like, "Oh my God, look what I just did." So I really want to understand, like, what happened yesterday?
Um, you know what? I have to say, for me, I think I have no, my biggest thing I think that gets me the trades, or I'm still learning the lingo, right? I don't know how to say it, but the buys and sells. I don't have a fear of losing the money.
Mm,
That's probably the biggest thing for me, is if I don't have that hesitation. And I think that's where it comes in at, is when I watch and I kind of get a feel of how the candle is moving up and down and stuff, and I don't hesitate. Like, I'm
mm.
not afraid. Like, I'm like, okay, this looks like it's just gonna go up. So I just, get it at the beginning. Or it looks like it's gonna go down, and I just get it at the beginning. I think that's the biggest thing for me, because I did 27 trades yesterday. I counted them. I did 27 trades. I lost 9, but in those 9, because of the way I did it, I broke even. I didn't lose money. So I profited. So in 27 trades, I won 17 or 6 18, or I don't know, because I
18.
lost. Yeah, so I won 18 trades. And the day at that yesterday, I started at $138, and I went up to 1,050 or something.
By the
Or
way, I disclaim that none of these results are typical. Please do not
right.
think you can do
That
this
was just a
yourself in
day.
any
That
way,
was
shape,
just
or form. Disclaim, disclaim,
right. No,
disclaim.
yeah, you're right. Because, I have to say, the days before, because I've been doing it for, a few days now, I've started 300, lost it. Started it, went back up to 400, lost it. But I mean, I'm learning, right?
Right.
And so yesterday I just was watching and being more patient, and I started at 138, but because of I just watch and I'm not hesitant and I'm not afraid. I think that's what helps me get the wins. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I mean, we're like I said, we're learning this together. So this is all
Yeah.
like documentation of like getting started with binary and the journey behind this one. So you got started in the education, you're getting results. What did you do kind of once you discovered pocket options and the trading piece behind there? Because you basically just said you went through and started reading everything. Like what happened?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I dove in. Like, when they say, like, I've heard this saying before, when you want to succeed in something so bad, you live and breathe it, and you are learning it day and night. You dive in with both feet, and you don't stop learning. Like, you don't want to stop. And that's how I felt. It's like, I heard that, and then I'm thinking, well, what is something that's going to make me want to do that? Because who really wants to do something like that if they don't really enjoy it?
right,
So when I got into this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like amazing," and I just dove right in, and then I thought, like, I don't want to just sit here and watch and not understand what I'm seeing.
right.
That was me watching us watch because they're amazing, like the company we're in and stuff, and watching them trade. It's like, what are all these lines, and what are all these, indicators meaning and stuff? So I thought I need to educate myself a little more. And I got I love Audible. And I drive around, and so I listen to I think I'm on my 4th book now, on binary options,
Mm,
and then learning that there are multiple strategies that people do. And I watch YouTube channels. I watched multiple YouTube channels, and I just, it got me so excited that I wanted to educate myself. And I educated myself to the point now where obviously it's still learning and beginning, but I can kind of see a good or bad.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's very possible for somebody to come in the very beginning and start to learn it and see where to buy and sell.
Yeah. So basically you're learning and you're earning at the same time. So it's not It's
Yes.
not taking forever. You're not having to wait to make any type of income. You're actually doing this through the process, right? Like it's just like
Yeah.
I can touch the crazy thing is, and it's weird, right? You're like, I can touch a
Yes.
button and I can make money, right? Like
Right.
it's so bizarre because when you think about it, you go to work, right? Because you work also, right?
Yes.
And you go and you work and you do that, but then you come home and you hit a button, for an hour or up or down, and you basically walk away with, money in your account.
Well, I mean, to put it into perspective, it's like I kept thinking because I drive and do blood draws, right? So each blood draw is $30, and I'm like, I'm driving 30 minutes or whatever to do this 10-minute blood draw and then 30 minutes home. So roughly an hour for each blood draw. And I get about five or less a day, two in a day. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can just go on here and click a button and make $30 in like 2 seconds. It blows my mind. And it takes me an hour of my time driving, gas, my tires, everything that costs more than $30 to do a blood draw. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it is very hard to comprehend, but it's real.
You're like, but it's real. Like it is real,
It's
right?
real.
So yeah, the thing is, and I'll say this one in, I've always looked at ways to help people make more money, right? Like that's always been my big thing. And you've
Yeah.
worked with me a long time now, whether it's building out your personal brand, whether it's learning how to teach and train to sell products and services that from your knowledge base, right? The other thing I always said is I want to learn how to invest so that the money that we make as network marketers, the money that we make keeps moving, and we learn how to build wealth, right? Like that's a big
Yes.
piece for me, is not just making the money, but learning how to turn that into a wealth legacy for every person that's on there. Because the
Mhm.
ability to not only create the income, but to maintain the income, to then be able to pass that generationally on is a big piece for me, right?
Mhm.
So I love that you are learning this, because there was a moment yesterday you popped on and you did something, right? So I guess your kids were watching you or something.
Yeah, and, in the morning, I thought we were trading in the morning, and so I got on and I realized, "Oh, it's not till tonight or that night," but my kids are like, "What are you looking at?" And so I, started showing them, and that's where I went up to, half the day of what I made that day, I was explaining to my 8-year-old, I'm like, "Look, this is how you do this, and this is how you do that," and I was showing them, and I was even saying, "I might lose this 20 bucks right here, but I'm just gonna show you. Look, you put however much in," and I put 20 bucks. I said, "You put the timer, and you watch the little candle go up and down, and you kinda gauge if it's gonna go up, and you kinda gauge if it's gonna go down, and wherever you click and that money in that line stays there." So I'm telling my 8-year-old, you watch to see if it goes past the line. If it goes past the line, you're winning. And he's like, "Oh," and he's all excited, and then my 13-year-old comes walking around, and she's like, "What?" Like, looking, and so I'm showing her the same thing too, and she's like, "Can I do it? Can I get started? Can I do it now?" And then my 16-year-old, he's like, how does that even work? Where does that come from? So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool because it's something that they could actually learn and do, and then there's strategy behind it. It's and my people think that it might be like, "Oh, you're just gambling," because that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Who doesn't understand it? "Oh, you're just gambling money. You're just gambling." But no, it's not gambling when you have a strategy and you understand, the market and you understand how it can go. I mean, it is still kind of risk. It's risk taking, but you can have more wins when you have a strategy, and that's what I was trying to explain to my 16-year-old who can understand more.
Yeah. Well, like the one thing I do like about the education I'm getting, because this is a couple things. I'm somebody that kind of needs a little. I do need a little safety net. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little like more like, oh my god, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to the demo account, right? Like I'm just gonna play in the demo account and play bigger. So I've got that own little fear piece in there. So I'm not quite, haven't let that all go yet, because I really haven't
Yeah,
been
let it go.
probably in as much in with you yet, right? So I haven't probably traded quite as often yet. Um, but one of the things that I love that they talk about risk management, and you and I were talking even yesterday. The strategy isn't just to keep winning the money. The idea is, what do you need for the day, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing I heard, and I really valued hearing this, they said, if your goal is to make, an extra $500 this month, or even an extra $1,000 this month, right? Then when you learn to trade, and I'm going to pull up my calculator just so you guys can see this. But if your goal was just to make an extra $1,000 a month, make a car payment, take care of groceries, a little extra, play money, right? Then what you would look to do is, they said, and I heard this from Hassani, and he's like a 21-year-old kid's been trading for the last 5 years, done very well for himself. He said there are 20 trading days in a month, right? Monday through
Mhm.
Fridays when you trade. Yes, you can trade on the weekends too, but usually the volatility in the market is usually Monday through Friday. So if you have 20 days that you can trade and you're looking to make $1,000 for the month, then you are basically looking at creating a strategy where you're winning $50 every day. Like, that's it. So if you learn how to create your strategy and win just $50 every day, once you win the 50, you stop. You just walk away and you're done, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And when you look at it from that perspective, it has a way different way you look at trading, right? Because now it has an
Yes.
intent and purpose, because you're
Mhm.
going to the market to create the income for your day. That's like your work day. And they even teach a 1 hour workday method, where you go in for 1 hour a day, you trade, you hit your number, whatever that profit level margin is, and then you walk away,
Yes.
right? And I
Yes.
love that, because they're like, what we're teaching you is not just to go in there, but to have a strategy, have a method, have an intention of what you're out to do. Otherwise, you're going to get into a place where you might lose it all,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a break point, you don't have a walk away point. And until
Yeah.
you learn how to have a walk away point, I think that's a big piece. Because you and I were talking about that yesterday. I said, well, if you just learned that strategy to make X each day, like, that could be your monthly profit,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then you
That's
take out,
awesome. Yeah.
right? So then you take out whatever your original investment is, and
Mhm.
you kind of just, you make sure that you don't leave the account full, you don't gamble it all away, but or trade it all away. Yeah, I could say gamble too. But I think that's one of the really great things that I loved about this, was that there is some risk management, and they talk about it often. Like, you can come in and you can start trading with $100,
Yes.
right? And to trade with 100, like you said, you started with 130 some odd dollars the other day, and we're able to trade it up to double, if not
Yeah,
triple that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, for the first hour, I got up to 600. I went from 138 to 600.
Yeah,
And like you said, that's not typical.
yeah,
And then that evening, I went from 600 to 1,000.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's obviously not typical because that was the first time in like since I've been doing it to get there.
yeah,
Um, and it's been because every day I watch. But you're right, you have to have strategy because what I learned when I was doing it is you lose the money, you're like, "Oh my gosh," and you feel like, "Oh, I just lost all that," and you wanna get it back.
yeah,
And then you try to do more, and then that's how you lose it because you're like, well, I'll just do
yeah,
another trade to get it back, and I'll just do another trade to get it back, and then you just keep losing.
yeah.
So you had to have a end point. You have to have a cap. Even you have to have like an amount in there that you stay at, and when it gets to it or gets down to it, you stop. Because
Yeah,
then if you're not, that's when you're gambling. That's when you're just throwing it all away, and there's no strategy behind that
yeah. And
or
I think,
intent.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no intent. There's no strategy. So
Mhm.
one of the things they teach you in being a trader is that you have to learn to control this first, and you have to
Yep.
learn to control your emotion, because it is an emotional roller coaster. I kid you not.
Oh, yeah.
Last night, Raquel, I was like, "Ah!" Right? Like, is it going
Yeah.
to? Is it going to? Like,
Yes, and then it goes, bloop. Oh, no, go back down.
yeah. You're like, ah.
Yeah,
So there's definitely an emotion attached to this. And one of the things that you and I even talked about is, like, there is a demo version for every
yeah,
account, right?
yeah.
So, when you play with like the binary, we use pocket options. The the demo version is what you kind of played in first to figure out your strategy, what you did, and then you're now applying it to a live account. But you did
Yeah.
play in the demo account for quite a
Yes.
bit just to
Yeah.
test things, see where, because you do want to have that loss, an emotional loss piece going, right? Because you
Yes.
really have to think of it as like, okay, I'm playing with this money, and am I willing to bet the 20? Am I willing to bet the 30? Am I willing to bet the 80?
Yeah.
Like, what are you willing to bet to have the win? But what I like about binary, for those of you that don't know the two, so this is what I'm learning, by the way. When you do a binary trade, when you lock in, like Raquel says, when you hit that button, you lock in your profit or loss like instantaneously, right? Like, you're not
Yeah.
waiting for the market to do something. You're already guaranteed an 80% return on your investment, 70%, depending on where that stock is at. And with binary, it tells you exactly what you're going to win and lose at, right? So you're going to make
Mhm.
90% of your bet. You're going to make 80% of your bet. So you kind of have an idea of what you're going to win. Or potentially, if you lose it, then you've just lost the bet. You don't lose anything else, right? So it's definitely a high frequency. You're trading more often. You have the guaranteed return, right? Like, you're gonna make X if you place the bet right now. So that's one of the different things. And I haven't really dived into Forex, so I can't do a true comparison, but I'm going to be bringing on trainers and leaders that we're going to talk here on Truth Bomb about these different things. So yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. It really
Yeah.
is.
It's timing. It's a lot straight down to timing. You
Yeah,
have your timing, you can predict it. It's,
pretty cool.
yeah.
So, Raquel, how can people follow you online? Because I know you're going to be sharing some of your adventures in binary trading, because we've talked about that. And especially with you being a mom and having this, making sure your kids are starting to learn this. And I have seen you just get like super excited. And the amount of information in her head now is ridiculous, just so you all know.
I love
Um,
it. I absolutely love it.
yeah. So, from somebody that was like skeptical, right? Like, we're talking like,
Yeah.
right? Less than 30 days later, Raquel. I mean, seriously.
Well, yeah, because the other ones, I was not told how and that I could do it on my own. The other companies that's like, "Oh, buy into this company and we'll help you and we'll trade your money," or I mean, I never was actually taught. And so this doing it on my own gives me more control and that's where, I'm excited because I want to be in control of my money. I don't want somebody else in control.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I agree, because I think a lot of times what gets told in this industry is like, "Oh, we'll trade the money for you, put X amount of dollars in."
mhm,
The other thing I heard, and just before we wrap up on this too, because I want to get back to you, like, how do people follow you and stalk you online? Um, One of the things, I asked a gentleman that had been in five different Forex
yeah,
companies, right? Five of them, and he had been moving company to company. And I asked him, because he's now in an education company, the one that we're in right
yeah,
now. And I said, what made this one different, like, out of everything you've done? And he goes, because they're teaching you to be a trader. He
mhm,
says most network marketing companies that deal in the Forex, not all of you guys, so I'm leaving room for opening, because I haven't been in all these companies, but I've been
yeah,
hearing from these leaders that have been in multiple Forex companies, wanting to learn, wanting to get educated. Most of them have a platform set up where they're hand holding you so much that they're giving you the signals. They're doing the automation for you, but what they really are doing is they're keeping you trapped, right? They're
yes,
making you a subscription based member instead of teaching you how to be a trader and really own the income that you're earning, or the potential of the income you can earn, and the loss, right? Because there's both sides. It's not just win. There's a mass amount of loss that Raquel's
yeah,
experienced. There's a loss I've experienced. Like, I'm
yeah,
losing right now as I'm learning this, but I'm okay with the loss,
yes,
because it's inside of there that I start to learn what my points are for trading, right? But he said he said when you can get into a company that their first piece is education, and then the second piece is like, if you want to build a network marketing company and make that extra residual income stream, that's an option for you, but not necessary to get the education. A lot of these companies, I'm discovering, are forcing you to be both a IBO and the education in order to get at the education piece, right? This company, Tradenology, leads with the education first. So once you get comfortable, once you get confident, if you want to share this with somebody else, if you want to share this with a family member, that's where you have that option, right? I started sharing this with my parents. Like, one of the big things for me, when I met the individuals in this company and the master traders and who I'm working with now, I said, this is what I want to gift to my parents, right? If they could learn how to make $300 a day, it would change the trajectory of their day-to-day living, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that I wanted to make sure I had a company that I trusted my parents could learn from, that weren't going to get taken advantage of, and that they had the safe place to work in a demo atmosphere, to learn their strategy and get comfortable clicking those buttons, because that was a big piece for me.
Yes, I agree. And my mom too. My mom went out and bought a laptop yesterday.
And we're trading for the whole family now.
Yeah.
I
No,
will say
it's yeah, it's
fun.
great. Yeah.
It's like the first thing I've been able to do with my family. Like, I get into network marketing companies and they're product based, or they're network marketing education based, right? The like things like that. But I now feel like I can sit down with my family and we can learn to be traders together. Like, it's bringing us closer together.
Yes, and I think because people have a competitive nature, right? Like, people are just competitive. So they're like bidding and they're putting money in there. You are like, we're gonna win, we're gonna win, and then you just all get excited together. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm through the roof. I'm excited. I'm gonna be sharing more videos from myself, um, going
Yeah.
live and stuff because of how exciting it is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely realize now I need to start recording my reactions to how this
Yes,
all goes, because
yes.
there is a wealth of things that go on, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know what I just saw, but that was awesome, right? So yeah, it's definitely cool. Well, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning and
You're
just being
welcome.
so open and candid about what your journey has been so far. And what I'm going to love about this is that I can't wait to see what happens in the next 3 months, 6 months, and we can look back on this one going, oh my God, you remember when we started this, right? Like,
Right.
this is what happened, and just see where we go on this journey. So I'm super excited. So
I'm excited.
for people that want to connect with you, where can they follow you, or where can they, because if you're going to be doing more training in lives, where can they kind of connect with you?
I have a Facebook page. It's Rita Raquel Davis.
Okay. So do you have access to the chat on here? Are you on a computer where you can see the chat, the comment section?
Yeah, the comments.
Yeah, can you post a comment in there at the bottom? Do you have access to do that?
Yeah, I may try.
See if you can do this. So again, we're learning together. This is basically about stirring up everything in Truth Bomb. But this is what you do with the truth, right?
Just
You
my name that they can find me on Facebook.
Yeah, or for like if you even have your Facebook URL, like if you know what it is.
I don't. That's not good.
Oh my goodness. You have to
I'm just
stalk you
so
on
into
Facebook.
I'm Hi.
I have to stalk you on Facebook and pull your a profile for you. Hold please. We'll stay live and just be like, hey, this is what we do, right? Like, this is part of our whole learning process. Ah, there you are. All right. So oh wow, okay, found you.
Oh, you found me? Oh, you're faster than me.
Well, I spend a lot of time. So stalk Raquel on Facebook. So if you want to follow, ooh, I could spell. So we'll do that one. Now they can follow you there. If you guys can copy that one, but you can follow her, watch her journey on this one. My goal is that you should always follow people and learn. And just like Raquel's watching multiple stations, multiple people,
Yeah.
if you're getting into this or you're curious about how to get into this world, you definitely want to hear different points of view, because that's going to give you a better sense of control and give you a better idea of who you want to follow. So first off, Raquel, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. You're awesome and amazing, an incredible entrepreneur. I'm
Thank you
excited.
for having me.
Of
Yeah, thank you
course.
for having me.
Of course. Of course. All right, everybody. You have a great day. This is Katrina with Truth Bomb. You guys can follow us on all social media channels, but definitely if you want to plug into the behind the scenes and get some of Raquel's bigger secrets, you're going to want to plug into the Truth Bomb Marketing app that is going live on 11/11. You can get in now as a special offer, but would love to have you in here. So definitely jump into Truth Bomb Marketing. Check us out, learn how to build your business in the new age of digital marketing. With that, everyone, thanks for jumping with us online. Raquel, stay for just a moment.
Okay.